Hi, happy King Day to you. We're so happy that on this day, Monday, January 15th, it's the time in which we celebrate the birthday of a great humanitarian, a great minister of the gospel, one who changed the lives of so many people, Martin Luther King Jr., the national holiday observance. We hope and pray that you will enjoy this day and that you will make it a day on and not a day off. Today, I want to take a special moment to say happy birthday to my nephew, Alan Anderson. May God bless you, Alan, and may this be one of the best birthdays ever. There's greatness in you as well. Our text on today out of 1 Samuel, the 9th chapter, verses 27 through the 10th chapter, verse 8. It's so powerful. It begins to let us see and help us to understand how God is doing something very powerful with Samuel. Samuel now takes Saul and he anoints him. He gets a flask. God has called him to anoint him to be the new king of Israel. You know, it's oftentimes that we must remind ourselves that God calls us. He calls us for the purpose of not only doing what we need to do, but how we can position others that they can do what God has called them to do. Well, in this passage, we find out that God is doing something great with Samuel. Samuel is told by Saul that God is going to do something great. He's going to anoint you. He is going to make you as king. When we look at this text, it begins to let us see that Samuel, who functioned in the role of a priest, that God is doing something great with him. God is going to allow him to anoint the next king. Well, he was a prophet. God had given him the message, and he was going to convey and relay the message because the Lord was going to put his spirit upon Saul. See, Saul, as he grew up, he was head and shoulders above all of those who were around him. He was, quote unquote, born for leadership. You know, all of us need to know that when we were conceived in our mother's womb, God had a plan for our lives. He had a purpose for us. It is important for us to know that purpose. But oftentimes, God gives us individuals to help lead, guide, and direct us so that we will not go astray. Oh, I remember that song, Lead Me, Guide Me, all along the way. When you and I let the Lord lead us and guide us, He will put people in our path, people who will encourage us, people who will direct us, people who will redirect us when we seem to be getting off course. Well, Samuel had been called by God to do many things, but he had this one major task that he needed to do, and that was to anoint the next king of Israel. As he pours the oil over Samuel's head, he kisses him and he tells him, the Lord has appointed you to be the ruler over Israel. Now, whenever you and I have to utter those words to someone that the Lord has appointed you and anointed you, we must always remind them and remind us that comes with great responsibility, a responsibility to allow the Spirit of the Lord to be in control, to make sure that He leads us and guides us. Today, may all of us be a person who can be a mentor to young boys, young girls, and those who are adults, and those who need to have someone to help direct them and guide them. So when they do that, it's then they'll know that God's got my back. He's talking to me, and He's calling someone else to call my actions and my words and thoughts into question. That means He needs us to have accountability partners. Just as Martin Luther King was accountable, may you and I be accountable to each other, that we can make this world a better place, that we can share the good news of the gospel, that we can tell everyone that God wants us to walk in wisdom and in power and in might, and that our living will not be in vain, that we'll make a difference in the life of everyone around us, and God will be blessed, and we will be so mightily powerful in being used by God. So today, may the Lord use you and bless you on this King holiday. Let this be a day that you encourage somebody and you tell them about the goodness of the Lord. Just as someone told Martin Luther King Jr. when he was a child, God wants to do something great in your life. God wants to do something great in all of our lives. And let's share it with others, and that they may know that they are exceedingly and abundantly blessed. Take the Lord with you everywhere you go, and I look forward to talking with you again on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.